So guys, welcome to Blender.
Blender! We got it done.
Oh, you don't have screencast keys? That's I'm raw dogging. All right, guys, I'm gonna start by deleting everything. So I'm just gonna select everything with A, right click, or actually, sorry, A, X, delete, just to get everything out of the way. So we have first is just the empty scene. You can move around. You need a mouse to use Blender a lot of the time. You can do it with just a mouse pad, but that's like really not recommended. Because a lot of the time you need to use the middle mouse button, because if you hold down the middle mouse button, you get to pivot around wherever you're centered right now. The other way to move is you do shift and right click. Nope, shift and, that's been a while. How do I know? Shift and middle mouse button. You do shift and middle mouse button, and that adjusts your pivot. And so now when you rotate, you pivot around a different point. Scroll in and scroll out to change your perspective. Right. Other than that, we can now start, that's like all the movement things you really need to know. I'm gonna start by adding a plane, right? So I'm going add mesh plane, and that's gonna create just a plane. I'm gonna press tab. So in the top right, we have object mode. I'm gonna press tab. It's gonna switch to edit mode. And so edit mode just allows you to edit your object, whereas in object mode, all you can really do is move it around. So you see I can toggle between edit mode in the top right, and I can toggle between that and object mode just by pressing tab. So actually, I'm in object mode right now. I'm gonna use the move tool. So I'm gonna click on that. And because I accidentally right-clicked, I changed the center of my origin. So I'm just gonna slide the plane over on the y-axis by grabbing on the green arrow. I'm gonna slide it over. I'm gonna slide it over on the x-axis by grabbing the red arrow. And I'm actually gonna use the thing in the top right here, little viewport. I'm gonna press on the z-axis here, and that's gonna now give me a top-down view. So I'm just gonna center it in the middle. Gonna hold down the middle mouse button to change my rotation again around it. And I'm gonna just push it down using the blue arrow. So the move tool is honestly the only tool you'll need for moving around over here. It's really, really helpful. The other ones like scale, rotate, those are just keys. So I'm gonna go into edit mode by pressing tab. And so you have various different things. There's different parts of a 3D object. So we'll start off by these things in all the corners. So I'm going to click with a left click out into the gray void over here. That's going to deselect my plane. So you can see here on the corners of the plane here, you have vertices. Select them or select them all by shift clicking.
Sorry. Apparently we're not streaming on Discord.
We're not streaming?
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Join stage? What do you mean join stage?
Buddy.
Camera, share screen.
Damn, bro. Another technical difficulty. What is this?
Okay.
6?
That's good.
Oh no, this is 6, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
this is
that's
6.
that.
So
We're
6,
still recording
guys.
here.
6. Don't
Right.
say another.
We're on,
Great.
All right. Got a question, James? Oh, you got a question, Gasmi? What's up?
Can you go back to the point? I do remember. I forgot how you do it. Actually.
The point?
Yeah.
This?
Yeah.
Just you click on it. It's the little corner. So there's little black. You can't see them really because they're over a gray background. But in the corners of the corner of every piece of geometry you have will have a little black point on it.
Yeah, I got it now. You were on edit mode.
Oh yeah, edit mode. You need to be on edit mode to see the vertices.
Right.
So you select multiple vertices, right? If you select all the vertices of a face, you then select the whole face. I'm going to scale up this plane by pressing S and then moving my mouse. So you move your mouse outward to scale up, and move your mouse inward to scale down. And I'm going to move it outwards. And I'm going to, oh wow, I did something there actually.
Wait, you said press S?
Yeah, S is to scale it.
I wonder why it's not working.
You have to be, so S in edit mode or object mode should scale it. If you're selecting, you have to be selecting the vertices, so it should be orange.
Oh,
So you have to select all the vertices of a face in order to scale it.
okay.
I'm gonna go tab over to object mode and I'm gonna add another object. I'm gonna add a circle. And I'm gonna move it on the z-axis so that the circle is above the plane here. So if I go in a top-down view using the tool in the top right, you can see that the circle is above. I put the plane there, so now if I press tab and go into edit mode on the circle, you can see very clearly all the little vertices on the circle. So you see it's got the different points on it. Now, the most important thing you can do with a vertice is, or one of the most important anyway, is that you can make a face with 3 vertices.
Worried about it.
That's not mine, at least. So if you select 3 vertices, right? So I'm gonna select these 2 and 1 down here, and press the F button. You make a face. So now there is a face. If I'm gonna go on the sidebar here, and I'm gonna hide the plane. You can see now there is a face in the circle. So I'm gonna select another 3 vertices next to it. I'm gonna put another face, right? Got boom. And so slowly, right, the ability to make faces with F is gonna slowly start building a 3D model for you. But you know, you might look at that and you say, that's really inefficient. See how many, we got 32 vertices on this circle. And if you want enough faces to fill all of those, right? You'd be there doing those, making triangles individually would have you be here for a while. So first I'm going to talk about these things in the top right here. You got vertice selection, edge selection, and face selection. We were in vertice selection by default, which means we could just select just the vertices. Edge selection, right, if you change it, means you get to select the edges that make up the faces, right? So the edge is any connection between 2 vertices. And face selection is just the selection of faces. So I'm gonna go into edge selection, and I'm gonna remove, get a little drag box by holding and clicking. I'm gonna remove all of these by pressing X and edges. And so I'm gonna show you the really, really efficient way of making a face from is you select all the vertices with A, and you press F. There you go, now you have a filled in circle. And so look how much progress we just made instead of doing those individually one by one. Now, of course, if you want to see the triangles, right? Because actually, Matt's Blender 4.2.2 isn't showing triangle count, but file size in Blender is determined by how many triangles you have. And you may think, there's no triangle here, look, big circle. I'm gonna do Control T, jump scare. Triangles, many triangles make up the face. So Control T makes visible all triangles that actually make up a face. Because if you use the fill tool on something that's not a triangle shape, it'll just implicitly hide the triangular edges. So these edges are already existent, right? Like these edges, they already existed and they already were affecting the geometry, but they're just invisible by default. So I accessed them with Control T. But like, I don't want them. So I'm gonna Control Z that. There. Now, did I mention, like, this is a 3D modeling workshop, right? How many dimensions is that?
At least one.
And any 2? How do I fix that? All right. I'm gonna go edit mode still. Face tool, right? Okay. Zoom out a little bit. I'm gonna click on it, right? I'm gonna press E. So now you have the extrude tool, right? And this is really your most important thing in 3D modeling, is the ability to extrude faces. So by default, you extrude in your face's normal direction. So like perpendicular to where the face is currently. So that's on a 2D surface, so it's gonna go up. I'm actually going to rotate the face on the top because I'm gonna go press R and then Y. So I'm rotating it across the Y axis. If you don't use an axis, it will just rotate it kind of whatever. And you can get a bunch of funky transformations. So I don't want that. So I'm going to rotate it on the x-axis, or y. Let's do y. And so now it's a little tilted, right? I'm going to extrude again. Press E, and you'll notice, right? It's now perpendicular to. It's perpendicular to how the face was oriented. So it's no longer extruding straight up, it's instead extruding on the face's normal. So I don't want that, that's weird. So I'm gonna press Z again, right? And that removes the lock and allows me to it allows me to extrude freely. I'm gonna press Z another time, and now it's gonna go on the global Z axis. So I'm gonna Control Z that one. Because what I'm trying to show, right, is that the XYZ axis of your face is not gonna necessarily be the XYZ axis you see here. For that, you're gonna need to go up to this top thing that says global and switch it to normal. And so now you can see that the Y direction for this face is like shifted kind of down. X is still to the side, and Z is now in that crooked angle. The main reason you would want to use normal, like the normal coordinate system, is like if you wanted to like extrude something and then like move it relative to the axis it's already on, rather than just moving it with the global axis, which could be unideal, could lead to just geometry that looks weird. Now I'm going to extrude the top of this again, and I'm just going to follow its normal axis. But I want to make a point for this. So I'm going to go into select mode. I'm going to go to the vertex. So you see now I have my vertices selected here. I'm going to extrude another one, just a small section. And I'm going to rotate that one across the normal Z by going in the normal tab. And so now it's going to get a little twisted. So for rotation, you have to rotate your mouse cursor around the object to rotate it. So now I got a rotated shape there. And I'm going to extrude one more time from the top of that. Go into my vertice selection. And I'm going to press S and scale it down. So now I have kind of a point, but it's not really a point. I'm going to make it a point, it's very simple. While you're in vertex mode, you can go right click and you can click merge vertices at center. And so what merge vertices does is that any number of vertices you have selected, it will just put them all into one vertex. So it'll just select a point, all of them merge to that point. So right now we have created a really weird looking tower. What about you guys following along? How are you doing with this?
I'm almost through the drill.
Wait, how did you do the point thing?
The point thing? All right, that's easy. Okay, so I have here, right? I scaled it down first, but that's not necessary. While you're in vertex mode, I right click, merge vertices at center, And that just takes this average position of all the vertices it selected and just shoves all of them right there. It also decreases like trying to count and such. How to make the drill?
Yeah.
What's just the point or like the twisty bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. So commanding Z, so I'm out here, right? I'm gonna make the drill bit by just I'm in the, so normally you're in the global coordinate system. Because I want it to be like, okay, if I rotate along the z-axis for the global coordinate system, right? The global coordinate system is different than the local coordinate system, so it doesn't rotate very cleanly. That's because right now we're all twisted. So when we rotate along the global coordinate system in the z-axis, it rotates around, what's actually the up direction, not what's the up direction relative to the shape. Hey, technical difficulties. All right, we're back. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up here and go to the normal coordinate system, and then I'm gonna rotate along the z-axis to just twist it around a bit and make your drill, as you say.
Yeah, I got it.
So, Blender, right? It's very capable of modeling stuff. But can anyone tell me what this looks like? Anyone? Because I can't.
Moai statue.
What?
Moai Easter egg.
Moai.
Easter head island. Yeah.
All right.
How about something dirty?
What?
And that concludes our
Yeah,
questioning.
yeah.
That concludes our questioning. So, you guys like Halloween? Halloween's pretty cool, right? Like fall's pretty cool. How about we make a pumpkin instead? That's easy enough, right? I'm going to be showing along how to make a pumpkin, but feel free to make any little modifications of your own if you're following along. So I'm going to start by adding a sphere from the mesh tab, which is just 3D circle. And when you add a sphere and some of the other shapes, there's some properties down here in the bottom left. I'm going to click on them. And so that says right here, it says we have 32 segments and 16 rings, and that's talking about all these faces on here. And I want a more low poly thing, so I'm going to go like 8 segments, maybe 12. It's all just about eyeballing. And rings, maybe we also put that down like 8. Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah. So I'm going to take this circle now. I'm going to move it into my origin. Because, again, normally when you spawn things, it will be at your origin. But it'll actually go wherever you do a shift right click. That's where your things will spawn. And so I accidentally shift right clicked very early on in this presentation, so everything has been not where it needs to be. And so pumpkins, right, they're not circular really, they're usually a little stout. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tab, I'm gonna go to the global z-axis, because I want this to just look shorter. So I'm gonna scale Z a little bit. I'm gonna go into the face selection. I'm gonna, like pumpkins, at the top, they're also not very round. So actually, I'm gonna start by, I'm gonna go and click on the first vertice on the top here. I'm gonna plug it in a little bit. And then I'm gonna take those faces and I'm gonna plug those in a little bit. So getting a flatter head with this pumpkin. I'm going to, I don't like those faces, so I'm gonna delete them. Delete faces. I'm going to then select the vertices that make up the top here, making sure I don't select the ones that, are all around and don't make up the top. So like right here, I accidentally selected these two on the top, so I'm gonna shift left click to remove them. So I'm press F on those faces, on those vertices to make another face. I'm gonna, pressed A on accident. You can control Z to unselect. So I'm going to scale that in a little bit, that new face I made. Punch it in a little, and I'm going to extrude upwards with it. I'm gonna rotate on the y-axis, the top of it, and extrude it's from its z direction there. Rotating again on the y-axis and pushing it around. Okay, cool. We got somewhat of a pumpkin shape, but a few things wrong with it. And also, guys, people making your pumpkins, do you need some more time before I start moving on?
Oh no, I'm just going freelance.
You can keep going.
Alright, I'm a little curious. I'm gonna look over here.
No, freelance.
Yeah.
Oh, you're chilling? What about you?
Making this stem right now.
Okay, okay. Cherry, you're learning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check my work, check my work.
Check your.
Check my work. This
You don't look like a pumpkin.
She's her own
It's
pumpkin.
no pumpkin. Terrible pumpkin.
Alright,
She's her own pumpkin, don't worry.
so, like this. Okay, we're getting pumpkin-ish, but do pumpkins have big black lines down the middle? Okay, that's because we're in edit mode. So if I press tab, okay. Pumpkins, they're pretty, foxy, but they're not this foxy, right? That's really low poly. But there's plenty of polygons there. This is a pretty hefty polygon-filled thing here. So I'm gonna go right-click. I'm gonna shade smooth. Boom. That's a little too smooth, don't you think, for a pumpkin? So instead I'm gonna do shade auto smooth, where it shades it just to what it thinks it needs to be shaded. So the stem here, which is more, the stem has a lot more it's more angular, so it didn't shade it as much. I'm actually now looking at the stem, I'm getting bothered. So I'm going to, if I go inside the pumpkin, is there a bottom face? No. Okay. Oh yeah, you can go inside the geometry in Blender with the camera view. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna select the edges that make up the base of the stem. I'm just gonna push it upwards. So yeah, that looks better. Okay. Now, what color are pumpkins? Is anyone here colorblind? Okay, well, that's not orange, right? And so I want to give this a texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my object. I'm going to go into materials. I'm going to click a new material, right? And for the first material that you create on any object, all of that object is just going to be that color or that material. So right now I'm going to name a material. Let's just call it orange. Go on base color, orange. So you'll notice, right? Not orange still. That's because we are in the, I forget which viewport this one's called. We're in, but we're not in the rendering viewport, and we're not in the material viewport. So rendering is the one on the right here. That one's a little computer intensive because it tries to render lighting. And then material here, which is the next one. Oh, so we're in vertex right now. So vertex only shows you geometry, and then material will show you materials. So if you want to click on the material one, which is the third little circle, orange, right? By the way, the first one, if you're curious, is wireframe, which shows you only geometry. So it doesn't show you any faces, it just shows edges and vertices. It's very useful if you want to select certain parts of an object that are hidden by their faces, but otherwise it doesn't really get used. So I'm gonna go in here, and that's not right. Stems are not orange. So I'm gonna make a second material. All of this, by the way, is in the material tab down here. I'm gonna make it called brown as my second material. Use the color, use the slider here to make it darker. And I'm going to go into edit mode on my object. I'm going to select the faces that are just, make sure I'm in face selection. I'm going to select the faces that are the stem. A good way, this is a good use of wireframe, so that way I know, look, all the stem is selected. I'm going to select the faces that are the stem, and I'm going to click on my brown material, and I'm going to click assign. And now, boom, I have a pumpkin with a brown stem. That's not terrible. But I asked earlier, right? I asked if you guys like Halloween, right? Halloween's pretty cool. What do you do with pumpkins like around Halloween time? Yeah, you carve them. So we're gonna carve this pumpkin. Make a little face. This is actually incredibly easy because all you need to do is tab, so edit mode, right? There's this tool right here, it's called knife. We're gonna use the knife, we're gonna carve the pumpkin. That's simple. So I'm gonna make like a face. Press space, by the way, to save your knife cuts. I'm just left clicking to make the knife cuts. I will say knife cuts are terrible for your, what was it, topology. So like that, how pretty your geometry looks. Knife cuts are terrible for that.
That's only when you're using a pen, right?
When you're using a pen?
Yeah, like you were just drawing.
Well, topology in 3D modeling is like how optimized and how neat your triangles are in order to model something. So using a sphere and just jagging out and just gashing out the desired face is not the best. And that's why it's called the knife tool, because you're butchering your geometry. So, you know, we see this right here in edit mode, it looks like a little spooky face. But if we tab object mode, our face is gone, right? So I'm gonna remove all the faces here. Do not follow this part of the tutorial. Do not follow this part. I'm gonna remove all these faces, right? And press X faces. So now in object mode, we can see our spooky pumpkin. But in anything that we render with, we will not see this spooky pumpkin. What we will see is we'll see the pumpkin, right? And then through the eyes and mouth, we will actually see the world behind it. This is because through this gashed open face of the pumpkin, we are now seeing the backside of the faces on the back of the pumpkin. And so, do any of you guys know what culling is in terms of 3D modeling? These two know. All right. And either of you want to give an explanation on culling?
Basically, the side, like, I think we can move to this back face culling.
Yeah.
Basically, the back side of like those polygons basically like not rendered
Yeah.
at all.
It's to save computational power.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, and just to save on resources.
Mm-hmm. So you can see actually in Blender, it's really cool. If you're in object mode, go up to this tab on the top right up here. Go down and click face orientation. Right? And so you can see it kind of does look like a spooky face now, but if you go everywhere in red, you will not see in game or in a rendering environment. So you'll only see the blue areas. And for our spooky guy right here, that's a little bad. You're not going to see anything inside his face. Also, for the record, like if you ever model something and you, by the way, checking your normals. This is called normals. So blue is your front side, red is your back side. If you ever see a part that you wanted like to render normally, but it's like it's like red, meaning it won't show up in game, you just click on it, click on the face that you desire to flip, mesh, normals, flip. It's really simple. Though I will totally say there are tells. There's some pretty easy signs sometimes that things are like the wrong way. Like you see how in the shading here, very clearly like he has like a dent on his head. It's because the shading, once it encounters a face that's flipped the wrong way, it freaks out a little bit. So to remedy our pumpkin with hollow face, I'm going to go back and I'm going to spawn back in its face that I deleted. And I said not to follow me on that. And I'm going to extrude inwards. So I'm just going to extrude and then drag a little bit inset. And then I'm also going to grab a new material. I'm going to call it yellow. And I'm going to apply that. And so now we have spooky pumpkin that, wait for it. Spooky pumpkin that will show up in game.
Terrifying.
I know, it's terrifying. Those following along, are you able to use the knife tool and such? Is Matt here? No. So this is not my computer, unfortunately, so I will not show you exactly how to put it in game, but I can show you how to prepare it for in game. So if you want, let's say you're making your Unity game, Unity 3D specifically, you're making your Unity 3D game, and you want this asset, right? Like who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want this very probably more high poly than it needs to be pumpkin? What you do is first, I'm gonna just delete this plane that's been in the background here. So you can delete an object in your hierarchy by right-clicking and delete. You can also rename stuff. So like the sphere, I can rename to pumpkin by double-clicking. If I wanted to export this, first I would make sure that there are no cameras or lights. You can have lights in the scene. No cameras or lights in the scene. So when you first open Blender, you open with a cube, a light, and a camera. Lights and cameras are specific to the .blend files, which is Blender's normal saving. Oh, by the way, Control S all the time. You need those saves. Blender likes to crash. Sometimes, not very often, especially if you ever look into UV mapping, so it's like mapping on images, like advanced textures that are not single colors. It likes to crash during that. But if you only have your object, right, you can do File, Export, FBX. And if you want to just like have certain objects in your scene, like if you have several different objects or like assets in your Blender file, you'll want to look at these things here. So limit to selected objects, or visible objects, or active collections. Selected objects would just be objects that you have highlighted in the hierarchy. Visible objects would be all objects that are visible. You can toggle visibility by clicking on the eye in the hierarchy. And active collection means that the collection, which is basically your folder that you're under, is active. It's pretty simple. So if we go back to exporting, which is File, Export, FBX, all you have to do if you've selected what you want to limit it to or have no limit, export as an FBX. That's simple. You can also, like, if you do have cameras and lights in your scene, you can just disable them. So like we just want meshes, or at the very least, yeah, we just want meshes. And then this will give you an FBX file of this pumpkin. which can be dragged into Unity, and literally, like, for Unity to FBX to Unity is literally drag and drop. Just drag it into your scene, and it's like you dragged in it's like you have a pill in your scene in Unity. You can just use it as that. It imports as a prefab object with just all of its various meshes attached to it. So it might import as several objects, but they'll all be like under one parent object. And that's basically all you need to do to put it into Unity. Any questions so far on Blender? All right, folks, that concludes the basic lecture on Blender modeling. But you know, if you guys still are looking to learn something, right? I can teach character modeling. It's a little more advanced, but you know, the pumpkin is basically a head, so we can make a little guy with this.
I am the angry pumpkin.
I mean, with lizard tag.
Yeah. So, all right, before I go ahead, is anyone staying after 6 o'clock and hoping to learn anything more?
I got that. Shoot.
No, I mean, like, is anyone still interested in learning character modeling or anything like that?
I mean, I didn't show up at the beginning, but yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, you're gonna learn character modeling then.
I kind of know how to use Blender.
Okay, so you guys know, like, okay, if any of you guys like are drawers or anything, you know reference models, reference images, right? So Blender's pretty cool because you could trace. I'm going to download files onto Matt's computer.
What about my computer?
I'm gonna download files onto Matt's computer. So
hell no.
I usually
Get the search suggestions out of here. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna download files onto Matt's computer. I usually like doing human reference image. Like I usually for Lethal Laser Tag, the game we made last spring, we actually both of us for me when I was modeling the characters, I used like the Da Vinci sketches of like a guy like this. I used those as my like reference image. Oh no, I need drawing. He went drawing reference.
Well, Pinterest or something.
I usually
On reference mode.
drawing. Man, wait. Human standing drawing reference.
Don't show the full thing.
Hold on. Let me. This is also in the recording. Upper body.
Upper body.
Upper body.
Type in Da Vinci.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Da Vinci person drawing reference. So I like grabbing one of these, and trust me, like, oh wait.
That was close.
There we go.
Stock licensable.
There we go. Okay, so this will all make sense in a second. Sure, save to downloads. Okay. So I'm gonna start, right? I'm gonna hide the pumpkin for now. I'm going to add in a plane. Make sure I am in render mode, which is a third of these dots. I'm going to go into materials and add a new material, and I'm going to call it reference image. And I'm going to click on the yellow dot here, because it's very unintuitive, but you click on the yellow dot here, and for texture, you go to image texture. And now you can open something from your files. So this is not my computer, but I just downloaded something. And Matt, where do you normally find things that you just downloaded from your computer?
Stop sharing screen real quick.
Alright, you just downloaded something?
I just downloaded something.
Okay. Let's see. If I do that. Ooh. Did you download it in 1999? Should be this, right? Dog Mega Pack? Is that what you downloaded?
I don't know.
16th of October? It's not the 16th. Oh shoot. Hold on. What's going on here?
What technical difficulty?
What do you know what the thing is that you
It's a
downloaded?
PNG image.
Would this be number 7?
Let's do JPEG.
Number 7?
Is it an ice
Yeah,
lock photo?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Woo! Okay, so we've assigned that image to this texture. So if I'm going from the top-down view by pressing Z up here, you can see, boom, we got the man guy. He's here. Okay, this is a quick introduction to UV editing. It's really scary. Make sure to switch over to material, and you can hold middle mouse button to shift this around. But like, let's just say that your face here was not the way you wanted it to be. Like, let's just say it looked like this when you entered. Like, if your image looked like this, then what you do is you click on it, or you select the face, and you do UV unwrap, and that will try to like it will try to perfectly fit like 1-to-1 the UV to the face. What you see here, it cuts off the last guy. So what you can do in the UV editing tab is you can grab that edge that's cut off and you can just drag it over. But like, you don't want to drag too much, because then you get like, now we got a whole party going. There's several guys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna UV constrain to image bounds. Again, UV constrain to image bounds. And that makes it so you just slide it and it'll just get the ending there. Anyways, UV editing is scary. You don't need to worry about that for the rest of this tutorial. Just get lucky and have your reference image fit on pretty well. So I'm gonna rotate this on the y-axis by 90 degrees by just typing 90. Now I'm gonna scale it up. Unfortunate zoom in. Okay. So let's look what we got. We got a pumpkin.
They're kissing.
RZ. All right, we got a pumpkin, and we want to give this pumpkin a hot bod, right? So, and forgive me if this is a little hard to follow along with this part. Character modeling. I don't think anyone in history has ever said that's easy. We're going to make use of a few modifiers first. So I'm going to add a new object, a mesh. I'm going to add a cube. Yes, what's up?
How come when you add a cube, like the coordinates where it is just really random?
It spawns at your origin, which is determined by the last place you shift right clicked. So I could have added it right up there by doing shift right click. And so with this cube, I'm going to apply a couple modifiers. First modifier, I'm going to apply, is subdivision surface, by just adding and like clicking subdivision surface. And the second one I'm going to add is mirror. So mirror. Let me reorder these, make sure I get them right. Mirror. Usually you want to mirror around an object, but like if I mirror around the pumpkin, right?
Whoa.
This is a different tutorial than I was trying to give.
That's what you meant by hot dog. Okay. Damn.
So for mirroring an object, you generally, there's a way to make it so you don't need to mirror around an object. You can mirror around oneself. But I'll be honest, bisect? Bisect. Okay, wait, that might be doing it. Put these in different order? No? Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to mirror not around an object. There's a way, but we have our head here, so we can just mirror around it. So I'm going to Control Z here. I'm going to mirror object, and I'm going to click on our pumpkin. So we're going to mirror around the pumpkin. Wait, can I mirror around itself? No, it can't mirror around itself. So I'm going to mirror around the pumpkin. And so that means that like it's going to be equidistant from the pumpkin on the x-axis. It's x because we have x selected. If I click y, it's going to be x and y. And if I click z, and then it's x, y, and z. And now we have 8 bodies. So I'm going to mirror on the x-axis from the pumpkin. And now subdivision surface, I'm going to drag above the mirror, I think. Yeah. So subdivision surface, right? Remember, this is a cube, and it has the editing capabilities of a cube. But subdivision surface is really just the make me pretty modifier. So anything realistic, you know, I don't know if you could tell, but I'm not made of cubes. Alright, I got smooth arms with like curves and such. That's because I used subdivision surface when creating myself. Subdivision surface has a little thing here. It's a number, levels viewport. And the more higher number you get that, the more your PC is going to cry. And the more smooth it will look. So I'm going to keep it at 1 or 2 for now. Keep it at 1. And the cool thing about mirror, right, is that I'm going to select this part right here. And now if I mirror it, right, it's going to start extending. Oh, I did not mean to do that. I'm actually going to turn off the mirror modifier for a torso because we usually would use that just for like legs and arms to keep them symmetrical. So for the torso, I'm just going to leave it as a little bean here. I'm going to center it. Then I'm going to extrude downwards. So you'll notice anytime you extrude, it like you see here, it's like barely touching the bottom face in subdivision surface. When you extrude, it snaps a whole chunk of mass to it. You can Shift E while selecting a face in subdivision surface mode to see how, how attracted the mesh is to your face. That sounds weird. But like if you Shift E and drag outwards, you see there's more mesh on the face. And if you push inwards, then there's less mesh on the face. So I'm going to scale this down because the torso right now is way wider than this reference image. And same here. The shoulders could be a little broader, but really what I think I need to do is I'm going to extend upwards for the shoulders, broaden those with Y. I'm going to actually go and I'm going to insert subdivision in the middle. I'm going to, actually I should have done, I'm going to lower that. Right now we're only working on the 2D and on the 2D person, so don't worry about his thickness right now. He looks a little stupid. This is
body armor now.
Yeah, he's wearing body armor. He's cracked. So I'm gonna Shift scale Y his sides. I think he's a little too petite down here, so I'm gonna scale Y. Honestly, wait, let's give this guy some hips. I'm gonna scale inwards with those, and then down here, I'm gonna scale outwards. Scale Y outwards. That's not terrible, honestly. Up here is a little scuffed. I tried to do with like the neck. I'm actually going to, like I gave him shoulders, but I don't really like how it looks, so I'm going to extrude upwards on those. And then I'm going to scale Y, zoom in, and that's like, that looks terrible, but we got it. So now you have a little stupid pumpkin guy, right? for those of you who are following along, how hard are you finding it modeling with subdivision surface? You doing okay with it? Surviving, thriving? Does he look as cool as this pumpkin guy does? I'm sure he does. So this is where our old friend from before, Shade Smooth, comes in, and you can get rid of all those like pesky details of it looking very blocky. And so before I move on to arms and such, I'm going to make a duplicate of this plane. Command C, Command V, and rotate it on the Z-axis 90 degrees. And I'm gonna bisect our model so we get quadrants. I'm gonna make invisible that first one, right? So now, right, we got the side profile going. And so this is a really cool way of like being able to essentially trace, but with 3D. And like I know, like I'm no artist, so like this works for me. If you really care about the art of your models, then you know. And if you're, especially like if you're good at art, you'll probably be able to do this without basically tracing. But I don't remember what a human looks like half the time, so I find for like basic character models, especially if you guys have ever seen Lethal Laser Tag, Garrett Matt and I's game, that guy barely looks human. So like I need these reference images, otherwise we're getting something non-Euclidean. Or what? Eldritch. So right now he's a little thick. Not always a bad thing, but I'm gonna grab his front and back and I'm gonna squeeze them together with Shift X. And so you'll see, right? Humans, right? They got curvature to their spine. So I'm gonna drag this. I'm gonna go on the Y view. So I'm gonna grab the yellow, green square here to move on the XY axis. Move up there. His front needs to come up a little too. And then I guess that will be leg. He looks fine there. I'm gonna remove the reference image to see. He's looking a bit creepy, but like he's got some hunching going on. It's okay. He's like a little creepy guy. So going back onto the front profile, this guy needs arms. So I'm gonna tab out of object mode and check the time. Oh, we still got a lot of time. We're good. Okay, I'm gonna tab out of object mode, or sorry, out of edit mode and into object mode. Just see what we got. We have our little creepy guy. But you know, he needs arms. And so this is where that mirror modifier I talked about earlier is going to come in handy. So I'm going to make his arm a second object. I'm going to make a cube. I'm going to add modifier of subdivision surface to make it look pretty. And I'm going to add a modifier of mirror to make it have two of them. And so I'm going to mirror around the torso. I'm going to rename these actually for convenience. So torso, and this is going to be arm. So around the arms, they're going to mirror on the y-axis around the torso. Why is it mirroring like that? Are you kidding me? Oh, this is a great time to talk about origin to geometry. So if you see here, the origin for the torso is like his heart. Kind of ironic, but you know, if we want to mirror around that origin to make two arms, he's gonna look a little like this. And we don't want that. So to set the origin of a geometry, select with A, right click, Maybe I have to be object mode. Right click. Snap. Thanks for that. So yeah, set origin. In object mode, set origin to geometry. And this will make the origin in the middle here. And now his arms can be on both sides of him. So I'm gonna follow the same thing I did here and just basically trace. So I'm gonna be in edit mode for the arm. I'm gonna scale down. Push it in there. Extrude. I'm just gonna give him mittens for hands because, again, not an artist. Gonna flatten that mitten by X, by scaling on the X direction, flatten it. You can give him a thumb too by making a cut. What way do thumbs go? Well, the reference image says it goes that way. Whew. Okay. Gonna try to look at both sides at once. Just gonna remove the reference image for a second. Oh yeah. Cut tool, you need to press space, otherwise it will kind of freeze you. So I'm gonna make a cut for his thumb. And then I can use the edge selector to select this. Oh, actually, I'm gonna probably, yeah. Probably isn't gonna let me do that, so I'm just gonna extrude a thumb. Man. I'm gonna go in normal to push this back up. I'm going to extrude out a thumb, push it to the side, and extrude this out to make his mitten. And so that's like kind of a hand. That's not terrible. Oven mitts. That's a lethal laser tag hand right there. Always with the crouch shot. Okay. I'm gonna go to the side profile now for him. And so arm should be over there. Let's fix that. Oh, well, okay, well, their hands are different positions, actually. But anyways, it shouldn't be facing backwards, so we can... honestly, that's not bad for arms, especially because, like, when you would rig it, like, onto a model, a lot of the times you want their arms in a T-pose. Like, you know, like, those memes of, like, people, like, T-posing, like, in games? That's because, like, honestly, that's the easiest way to model someone. Like, yeah, exactly. So...
Although a lot of people do A poses.
I've used T-poses myself, especially... Hey, we can make this guy T-pose by just clicking on one of the arms, making sure we're still mirroring, and rotate along the Y-axis, X-axis.
No. You gotta change the center of rotation.
That is correct, Brandon. The center of rotation is currently this point. When it, yeah. I don't know, it'd be really easy just to R, X, 90. Jeez, that's terrible. Wait. There we go. See, look, T-pose. But we're going to leave him on the side for now. Okay, so progress so far. We got a little ghoul guy. Are his thumbs the wrong way? Dude, he's extra spooky.
He's open palm.
Oh, he's open palm. Okay, he's open. He's like rising up.
Yeah, like Aristotle.
Yeah. All right. Let's get creative with the torso. How do we think like this pumpkin ghoul guy, right? He doesn't have normal legs. What are we thinking?
Green skeleton.
Green skeleton, like bones? Like he's on bones? Anything else?
Give him a cape.
Give him a shit. I'm not doing fabric in this. You can do fabric in Blender. It actually has great tools for like simulating fabric. That's way above my knowledge of Blender.
Do you want to blow up his computer?
This is not my computer.
Go on, subdivide it a million times.
Like make his suit a little like dark, I guess.
Hold on. Let's first think about legs. I like the idea of having him not have normal legs. But you know what? Actually, you know what this would actually be? A scarecrow. He's a scarecrow.
Somebody. Oh yeah.
Scarecrow.
So I'm going to add mesh cube. I'm going to scale shift Z. I want to keep the height. So if you scale shift a direction, that's scale in all directions but this direction. So actually, I'm going to control Z. I'm going to make him a little, no, control shift Z to redo. I'm just going to like move that up. That looks painful. All right. He's so tall.
It's okay, scarecrows are supposed to be tall. It's scientific.
It's scientific. Okay, so he's down the center, right? Base.
Loading.
I'm gonna use mesh. I'm gonna use the wireframe to make sure I'm getting at the center of. Actually, down. Wait. Set origin to geometry. Using the wireframe to make sure I am putting the stake right through the center of him. And I'm gonna go back into material view. Okay, we got a little spooky scarecrow guy. That needs to be thinner. Scale shift Z. Okay, now I got a question for everyone. All right. What kind of food is that?
Hoodie.
Is that hoodie?
Turtleneck.
Have you ever seen a fit that is pure, blinding white? Have you ever seen a scarecrow on a blinding white pillar? Let alone, actually, now that I think about it, have you ever seen a pumpkin that looks like that is just solid color? It's a little cringe. We should design our own fit for him. So this is where I introduce texture painting.
Open MS Paint.
Basically. So, if you see here in the top, texture paint, that's a tab.
Mouse, bro. Use the mouse.
So texture paint, right now, let me actually, before I go on, let me apply these modifiers. So our torso here has subdivision surface, and so if we click on the torso, go into the modifier tab, and click apply. Now if we ever go in edit mode or something, look, now we actually have the geometry. It's no longer like that boxed out shape. Same with here, I'm going to first apply the mirror, and now I'm going to apply the subdivision, and now we have little hands and such. Real quick over there, how you doing? How you doing with the...
Oh, yeah, I'm following along.
Wait, can I take a look? I'm curious.
It's the same as yours.
That was quite different.
Oh, no. Oh, wait.
Oh, hey! Okay.
What's up, man? I was waiting for you.
Where? What's up, dude?
Alright, so let's draw some clothes on this guy. I'm gonna go to the texture paint tab, right? You know what? Actually, nah. We'll draw it. We'll draw it. Texture paint. I'm gonna select with object. So now in the texture paint tab, tabbing does not switch between object mode and edit mode. It switches between edit mode and texture paint. So I'm going to select on using object mode. I'm going to select on his torso. I'm going to create a new image. New image over here in the texture paint tab. I'm going to click on the top left up here where it says new. I'm going to call it torso image. And and that's going to create I'm going to uncheck alpha, and I'm going to make it white by default. New image. And then here, I'm going to, for the material, his material is, this is just, is it what? It's named torso image? I'm going to image texture, and I'm going to select the torso image from this little drop down. So this is going to be called torso material. And now, make sure you're in render mode here. I'm going to hide the pumpkin and the arms. And I'm going to switch into texture paint. Oh, one more thing first. We got to do some UV mapping. I'm going to save this to Matt's donut.blend computer and users.mattorbeta.download/donuts, just because I feel like this is going to crash if I, this is the time to save your program, because we're about to do a UV unwrap. So this texture right here, so this geometry is being displayed as a cube like this, and parts are overlapping, as you can see. And that's no good when you're trying to map an image onto the texture. So essentially, yeah, you know what, Sam? You know a lot about this. Explain how UV mapping works.
Oh, UV mapping?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like unfolding. You have to mark your scenes, or you can have the computer do it automatically.
All right. So I'm going to use a smart UV project, and I'm just going to use the default settings and unwrap. And we get this. Boom, that's pretty good. So I'm going to now select all with edit mode. Okay. And I'm going to go to texture paint. What color should this guy's fit be? What are we thinking?
Navy blue,
Blue?
like a nice midnight blue.
Midnight blue. Okay. Okay.
Elaborate.
Let's start drawing.
Good day, brother.
So right here, right, this shirt, I want to be a little symmetric. So I'm going to hold middle mouse button, right? And I'm going to click symmetric over the Z axis. So that means anything, if I believe so. No, that's the wrong way. I'm going to do symmetric over the Y axis. Yeah, so anything applied to one side will be applied to the next. So if you wanted to draw a design on it, right, you get it mirrored. So I also want this to be, you know, equal on all sides. So I'm going to do mirror on X, mirror on Y, mirror on Z. So everything is mirrored very easily. But like, you know, we have such a nice shirt here. So much canvas, so much space on this blank canvas. And I'm going to use wireframe to make sure I touch up everything. Believe it or not, that actually does allow you to touch it, like to allow you to paint it. So much blank canvas here, right? We should draw a little logo on it. So what are we thinking? What's this guy should?
329.
What?
329.
Yeah, 329. Okay. Wait, where's the pumpkin? There's the pumpkin.
Give them a code.
I'm gonna lower the radius.
Extra credit.
Extra.
Yo.
Okay, I'm gonna turn off the mirroring for this. Do 3
29.
329 on the front, right? On the back.
Turning.
No. It's gonna say VGDA.
Oh shit. Yeah. Hell yeah.
So as you see, as we're drawing on the model, right, the textures appear in here as it will. Like, so this is an image that, like, the texture is based off of the image. It's pretty.
Why is it an inverted turn? Why is it like?
Oh, well, that's just the. Okay, so all really that matters is how it appears on the model. The computer knows to take this,
Oh, okay.
flip it, throw it on the back.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Also, just because we said this was a hoodie several times, I'm gonna give him little pockets. I'm gonna use the Y. I'm gonna use Y, so he's gonna have like the. Yeah, he's gonna have his. How do you draw? Is that how you draw? That's basically a hoodie pocket. Okay. It's like a pocket for a hoodie. Okay, wait. So let's take a look so far. Okay. Those arms are looking naked, right? What should we do for the arms?
Draw sleeve.
Draw a sleeve. Hold on, let me.
Yeah.
For the arms, I'm going to make a new image. So I'm going to exit out the torso image. I'm going to make a new. I'm going to call it arm image. Alpha unchecked, white by default. And I'm going to make a new material. Call it arm.
Arm material.
I'm really excited about it. Apparently got all caps. So So I'm going to go into vertex paint, and I'm going to.
You have to use your student account, or you have to pay like tons of money for it.
Wait, that's vertex. Vertex paint's very different than texture paint. Okay. What color should his sleeves be?
Like
Seafoam green.
Seafoam green.
We love the colors.
Let's get it bigger. I'm gonna use the wireframe just to.
I was gonna ask you, Kieran, like, you know how you're using wireframe? Like, how can you tell when it's full, on the left side? Like, how can you tell, like, when
So
it's
you can't tell you're actually touching in the wireframe, but you just kind of got to trust the process. And then when you when you click back in, oh, it didn't touch those sides. Never mind. I guess you don't trust the process with
Yeah,
wireframe.
Hamilton path that has to hit every single vertex on the arm.
Stop.
It's a scarecrow popsicle. It's like
Well,
getting-
that's how scarecrows kind of are. I'm gonna hide the torso so I can get.
No, it's a vertex color.
It's a texture. Okay.
that looks very.
Yeah, there's parts that were hiding down there. You know, I think you could do a little better than just plain. Maybe his hands. He's got pumpkin hands, right? So he's got his hands. They go a little. Oh. Apparently, we have very few vertices between top and the bottom there.
What happened to me in the laser tag?
When you're trying to do.
Yes.
Sure. Never mind. He's perfectly content with those arms.
Kieran,
Yeah.
can you show? Oh yeah, there you go. Okay, so those are all the vertices and edges. It's a graph.
Oh, dang it. You know what I forgot to do?
Just like
I forgot to UV map him.
That texture is in no way affiliated to any religion, right, guys? That's where we're covering our bases.
Oh my god, look at that left side. Ooh.
Don't get
That's
offended, guys.
you know what?
Don't get offended.
You know, wait, Garrett. That's why it like was like that. Hold on.
Really?
Yeah. Screw this image. let's do arm image 2. This is why you need to. You need a UV map. So let's select using object or edit mode. Let's select our arms UV smart UV pack unwrap. Go into UV editing tab. That looks kind of good. It looks all right. Texture paint. We're going to apply now, instead of arm image, we're going to apply arm image 2. And I'm going to give, I'm bringing back the lime foam green. I'm going to, oh, wait. Am I not in the right rendering? How come I can't see it? Oh, now I can. Okay. So if I go to wireframe, it should be able to just
I think my question earlier is answered by what I'm seeing right now, Kieran. So I guess
Yeah.
when you're coloring it should show you on the left screen, right?
basically. I like scrolling out in wireframe, and then I could just do like there's something in here. Yeah, boom, everything's colored. We got some bleeding there, but look.
Basically, the left side is a map for how it's going to be wrapped onto the model. So
Yep.
theoretically, you could go into external software and draw on there, and then Blender will know what to do.
So I'm going to just do it over the Y. I'm gonna give him some red hands. Actually, you know what? Yeah, that's like okay skin color.
Saw a lot of parallels in that number 2, so.
You guys seen that video that's like cinematic parallels between Daedalus and the 6'7" kid? No? Alright.
Don't say those words ever.
Don't say those words in that order.
Forbidden.
Did you just say something about the 6'7" kids?
No, you could, don't worry about
In
it.
spooky Halloween, it's like blood or something. Ooh. Or he.
Orange blood?
Pumpkin.
He harmed himself.
Tomato sauce.
If you made it brown, you could say, hey, he dabbled in the candy.
What?
You made his arms brown, they're like, oh. he ate
This
it.
one, I'm just gonna reuse our brown material from earlier.
Why would we
And
do that,
boom.
It's not shit.
Check that. Check that out, guys. We have a cool little 329 hoodie
Mascot,
wearing.
mascot.
though? Put that on the Unity asset store.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's repping the VGDA in the back.
Fuck yeah.
He might have just murdered someone.
Yeah, he might have murdered another pumpkin.
Oh, wait, can I take a picture?
Yeah. So the next question is, okay, how do I rig this up and model it? And to that I say, that's a little bit out of the scope right now of the time we have left. But there are plenty of YouTube tutorials on how to rig up a skeleton. A lot of them involve you just grab your object mode, add armature, right? And from the armature you get a bone, and that's going to be your root bone. And then you make other bones, and those bones will have influence over your model. I really don't think I could do it justice in the 30 minutes we have left here today. So if you are interested in like using the models that you like make in Blender in Unity, right? Like making custom animations for them, and things like that. Look up how to do animation rigging. It's really cool what you can do with it. Sam, I know you've talked to me about like the keyframes, everything is just math and translating between the frames. It's really neat how that works, because like if you have bones can be both connected and disconnected. So connected bones, right? They're like your bones here. They're like, you know, if I move this, like my shoulder goes down a little bit. If you have disconnected bones, so they're entirely independent of each other, and you just kind of move those wherever, the model goes through some crazy like distortions. It's really funny to look at.
When you look up how to rig a skeleton then?
So Blender, how to use an armature. So these are called armatures in Blender, but it's called skeletal rigging. Like that's just what the idea behind it's called. So I'm going to delete the armature. And is there any questions first about this guy or what you can do with Blender? Because if not, that concludes my Blender workshop.